Howdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 33 of the Elbow Nudge Podcast. Today we'll be talking about
Toy Story.
You've Got a Friend in Me.
Bum, 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 bum.
You've got a friend in me.
When the road looks tough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed.
Caroline, before we start, I hope you didn't look this up because I wanted to give you a little bit of a warm-up question.
Okay. All right.
And by little, I mean medium size, actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is to get the brain juices flowing.
Got
in
it.
your mind.
Big brain energy time.
Do you think you can name all of Woody's catchphrases from his pull string?
There's a snake in my boot.
That's one. There's 9.
Reach for the sky.
That's 2.
I think that's all I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe
There's some more classic ones you should know.
Not without looking it up. It doesn't come to mind.
I'll help you a little bit. There's some classic
Please.
ones you should know.
Okay.
Your my
is it best friend?
No way, Caroline. Are you serious? How many times have you seen this movie?
Toy Story 1? Ugh.
You're my favorite deputy.
Oh, I don't even remember that one.
No? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. The other one you should have known. Well, you said reach for the sky, right?
Yes, yeah.
What you said 3 of them. What was the other 2 you said?
I said there's a snake in my boot.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Reach for the sky, and then you just said that you're my favorite deputy.
All right. I think those are the most popular ones. And then
how many does he have overall?
9.
Oh, wow.
He says, this town ain't big enough for the 2 of us.
This town ain't big enough for the 2 of us.
This one, actually, I would have to look back where there's 2 that I can't really pinpoint where he said it. But
somebody's poisoned the water hole.
Yeah, you said that one, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh no,
my
okay.
Goodness.
He straight up says yeehaw, classic Texan slogan. Giddy up, partner. And he says, we got to get this wagon train a moving. That one is actually, yeah, I remember. That's when he was, him and Buzz were at Sid's house, and the dog wakes up, and like his pull string gets caught on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I don't really remember, or I don't remember when he says it, but I know he says it, is, I like to join your posse, boys, but first I'm going to sing a little song.
I don't remember that one
I don't remember when he says it, but I do know he says it.
I know there's a snake in my boot immediately because I used to play this game with my brother, because obviously we own cowboy boots, and we used to have those little rubber snakes that you'd get at like grocery stores in the little toy section, and we would play a game where you would toss them into the boot. And it was because of Toy Story that we came up with that game when we were bored one day.
This wasn't a Toy Story Pixar thing. This was just you guys going off of that idea.
I think the Venn diagram of both is a possibility. It was a Pixar Toy Story thing and a Texan thing.
But it wasn't an officially licensed, like, here's a boot, here's rubber snakes, toss it in the boot. It wasn't like that.
No, yeah. We had a boot laying around, and we had these play toy snakes.
Man. The things we did as kids. Very relevant to the movie.
So, Tony.
Yeah, what happened?
I have a question for you. Uh-oh. Because the listeners of this pod may not know, but you have been going through the Toy Story series on your own, unprompted, before we decided to even cover this film. And I wanted to know, why is that?
All right, perfect segue, because I'm going to bounce it back to you too.
Oh, okay.
Toy Story is my favorite Pixar franchise. I think it's the most nostalgic. I think it's the most iconic, and it's very special to me. And that's what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to say, before we even talk about the movie, what's your relationship with this movie? Like, when did you see it? Did this movie change how you played with your toys? Did you try to like catch them talking or anything like that? Because I try to do stuff like that too.
Absolutely. I saw this movie for the first time on VHS. I think I was 5, maybe a little bit around that age. And my mom was just like, "Hey, do you want to see Toy Story?" And because she was always showing us movies just throughout our childhood, even today. Like, she's a big movie fan that got passed down. So she would always buy or rent the latest movies for kids, and Toy Story was one of them. It came out a month after I was born. So I wasn't obviously capable of seeing it around the time that it was big and it was buzzing and stuff, but I was catching it at 5 years old. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. However, this didn't grab me into Toy Story. It was because I think Toy Story 2 came out in 98. And so I was watching them all at around the year 2000. And Toy Story 1, I remember I saw it. I liked it. I thought it was funny. But then after we finished it, my mom puts in the VHS for Toy Story 2.
Didn't
That's the
even have to
one.
wait.
Yeah, I did not have to wait at all. I didn't have to think like, "Oh, we're going to go see Toy Story 2." Like, it was one after another. And that's what drew me in and made me love the franchise. And even like now when you ask me like how many times have I seen Toy Story 1? I think I've only seen it 3 or 4 times, but Toy Story 2 is like in the double digits.
I saw it 3 or 4 times in the last month. But okay. And then what about the how you were playing with toys after this movie?
I think I can definitively speak for a whole generation of kids that did not get rid of their toys because of this movie. And
Yeah.
I was definitely that kid that like believed that my toy had feelings and stuff like that. I had a Jessie doll. That was my toy, my favorite toy. Like the way Andy is with Woody. That was my girl. And my Jessie doll, I would take her to church with me. I would sleep in the bed with her. I'd be cuddling her. Like that was my thing. And I always felt like if I left her behind or something, she was going to miss me. She'd be lonely.
I was gonna ask you that too. If you did the sleeping, like I was gonna ask you, do you write your name at the bottom of the foot? Did you sleep with them at night?
My name is too long, so I would split it in two. It would be on one boot, it would be Caro, and then on the second boot, line.
Just how Bonnie put Bon and E on Forky or Forky,
Yeah,
whatever his name was.
yeah, that's how it was.
Did you ever
But
draw pictures of your toys?
I did. I'm not a great drawer, but I did draw stick figures of Woody and Jesse and Buzz Lightyear. I loved Bullseye. I was a horse girl as a little kid. I was definitely a horse girl. And so I would
You have a horse
always
sense?
I do.
Okay.
I'd like to believe I do. But I would draw Bullseye. I think a while back when I was clearing out some old boxes from our attic, I found some drawings of mine, but I threw them away. I should have scanned them or something.
And you were doing this because of Toy Story, or did you start doing this
It was a
before Toy Story?
combination of things of like it was the horse love obviously, but also I really loved Jessie. I loved the whole cowgirl stuff. And so it was a combination of a lot of things.
For me, I was trying to list what I was seeing in the movie. So I was watching how Andy was playing with his toys, how he did the drawings for his toys. I never did that. I never drew my toys. I feel like that's like an extra special bond. I never wrote my names at the bottom, but I played with my toys just like he did. I think this movie is very special for showing kids' imaginations.
And it gets it right. I think we all have memories of playing with our toys that way, where
Yeah,
you
just
make
using the
up.
crib as a jail.
Yeah.
Imagining huge mountains, imagining like a bank robbery, a shootout playing out. I wonder what it is now. I feel like we always talk about this if Toy Story comes up, but what are the toys now that's popular? What is the Buzz Lightyear that's taken place of the old fashioned toy? Or I don't want to say that it's just a tablet because that's kind of sad to think about. There's got to be toys that are actually being played with.
I think with girls and dolls, that's a forever thing. Every girl loves a doll. I had a lot of dolls when I was young. Have you ever heard of American Girl?
No.
It's a doll making company that would make these dolls that are, and they're not like Barbie dolls, they're like full size dolls. Like they're, oh, I want to say like 10 inches big. Like they're huge. And you would dress them up in like, some of them are like period. So like they would say, oh, this is like the 1950s doll. This is the 1820, or like they all had a year that they would come out in. And I remember my biggest thing as a kid was I wanted an American Girl doll. And my mom bought me an American Girl doll that looks like me, because I had like this whole catalog where you could pick like, oh, my little girl is like this skin color and this hair color and this eye color. And then they would send you a doll that looks like your kid, or like that has the same features. And then they would sell
Wait,
like
wait, and how do you do that? You had to send a picture?
no, no, no. It was a catalog, and they would show you different combinations of like what you could do in the doll. And so they had like
They mailed
one,
you a catalog,
yeah.
and then you chose a combination of things that would look like you, or your mom chose it.
And then like the catalog would show like this array of dolls, and it would be like, here are all the brown haired dolls, and they would all have different hair colors and different skin colors. And they did that for all like the brunettes, the blondes, the like redheads, like all of that. They would have their own page. And so my mom was like, all right, brown hair, brown eyes, like this is it. And then there was also like the Samantha doll, and that's what I had. I had the Samantha doll. And so I had like and when I would take my American Girl doll with me everywhere. It was like her and Jessie were best friends in my mind. They were best buds, and you could get matching clothes with your doll. And so when I was thinking about that, because my cousins have little girls, and I was thinking like, I wonder if they still play with dolls, or do they like play with their iPads and stuff. And then for Christmas this past year, my family and I, we got them Frozen dolls that are like the same size as like those American Girl dolls, and they loved them. They loved like the Anna and Elsa doll. And so I was like, all right, little girls and dolls are forever. But little boys, I feel like it's always changing. Like I was a tomboy, so I was super also into like Transformers and GI Joe. And did you ever play with like Rescue Heroes? Those were like firemen and cops, and they had these big old feet and hands.
No, not of. Is Rescue Heroes the actual brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I had like fireman toys, but just for like a knockoff brand or something.
These were like Rescue Heroes. I'm sending you a pic. And Davey had a lot of those. And so Davey and I would always play around that like a Barbie was like stuck, because we also had Thomas the Tank Engine. And so one of my favorite memories is we tied my Barbie to the railroad on the Thomas the Tank Engine
Oh,
railroad, and the rescue hero had to like come in and save her with like the fire truck and the
did he make
cop.
it?
Oh, all the time, of course. You're
Oh,
not
all
going to
right.
plan a tragedy as a kid. You're like,
Davey
oh
wasn't Sid.
no. No, he wasn't. Well,
You know
Davey.
what? When I was watching the movie, there's a sign on Sid's wall in his room. It says
Uh-huh.
"I heart explosions," and I was thinking, Davey?
Davy? I was thinking Davy when he was like reconstructing the toys.
Yeah.
We were big into Bionicles. We love Bionicles. Did you ever have those?
No, but I know Bionicle, but no, I never
So
had him.
you could change around the Bionicle. Like you don't have to. The outside the box thinking was you could just make your own chimera of stuff if you had enough Bionicle parts. I was a stickler for these came for this character. I'm gonna make this Bionicle. But
Ah, Davey the
Davey
creative.
would never follow the rules or the instructions for his Bionicle. He had a box, a little Lego chest, a bucket filled with Bionicle parts, and like legs and arms and hands and like all the pieces of a Bionicle. And if he got a new one, he would just like add it to his chimera of a Bionicle that he made himself. And so I was looking at like Sid's toys where he's got like the baby with the spider legs and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, Davey never blew up his toys. He never broke his toys. He wasn't destructive, but
But he always wanted to. I can assume.
I can only imagine if he was given access to any type of explosives, what could have happened to his toys.
Well, he treats his Gundams pretty well now.
Oh, yeah. He treats them like children. They're all spick and span on his shelf.
I didn't have too many. What do you call them? What are they? Rescue heroes? Are they from a show or are they from?
I think they were toys, and then like they made some shows from them. Like there were like little movies you could buy at, or not buy, but like rent at Hollywood Video. But it wasn't like a show.
Okay.
Or maybe it was. I'm looking at it now. Apparently there was a one season. Oh my gosh. I never saw it.
The most popular character toys I had a Batman. I had a
Ah,
Ninja
yeah.
Turtle. I had a Robin to go with the Batman. And these were weird toys. They were almost plush body, but not exactly like squishy. They were just like soft, stitched body. And then they have plastic heads
Hmm.
to form, yeah, the cowl and the chin and all that. And then it came with the capes. My mom still keeps those because she thinks they're super unique. Like she's never seen them before since then. So she still has them in her closet somewhere.
Is it something like this?
Something like that. It didn't look like that, but that's the exact layout. And it was
Okay.
big. It was pretty big too. But yeah, I also had the army men. That was awesome, just setting up fake war scenarios.
Oh yeah.
So seeing the army men in Toy Story that was like seeing Barbie. That was like Pixar getting Barbie later on. It was like, whoa, they have actual toys here. And like seeing Etch and Sketch,
Oh, the
just
Etch and Sketch.
seeing actual toys show up that
Mm-hmm.
that made it special.
What were some of your favorite toys? Was it just like the Batman and the army? Did you have a toy that you would take with you everywhere?
No, I didn't do any of that. I really liked playing with it. The biggest part related to was just the creative imagination side. I always played out the scenarios with my toys. One of my favorite scenarios was just like floor is lava with my toys. So they were always on the couch, and then they like jump to the night table, the nightstand, then they jump to the dresser, things like that. And my favorite toys, I didn't have a favorite one specifically, but I just liked when a toy was able to bend their elbow and their knees.
Oh yeah.
Their hands were allowed to move and things like that.
Once they started getting mobile, that was it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is brand new technology. What?
And then after Toy Story, I would try to set them up. I would put them on the bed and I'd be like, all right, I'll be right back. I close my bedroom and then I stay quiet outside. I'm like, all right, maybe they think I'm gone. And then I open it real quick and look, and it's like, oh, they're still there. Oh, they're good. They're real good. I never caught them. I never caught them moving.
I never tried to catch them moving, but I really did believe that they had like feelings and emotions and they were
Yeah.
there. I would want to I think as a kid I would want to give them their privacy cuz I remember leaving my Jessie doll on my bed and then telling her the same thing like, "Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to go eat dinner." And then just closing the door. And I wonder if it's just like I'll give her privacy. She's talking to my other dolls.
You see, that's very considerate. But I was trying to prove something. This was an experiment here.
You were hunting the truth.
Yeah, after this, I'm like, is that. I guess I questioned it. Like, is it real? Let me see. I got to see for myself. If you can see your toys come to life, wouldn't you want to try to do that?
Absolutely.
That was what I
Yeah.
was trying to get. It's like, all right, I would like try to peek under the door too. Maybe I could see him under the door. That never
See the
worked.
little legs flopping around.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no way they know that I'm here. They don't have the army men set up anywhere. They don't have any visuals on me. I don't know. They're probably smarter than I was, so
They're just that good.
they're that good.
Do you have any toys kept today from your childhood?
No, I don't. None. My mom has them. Yeah. When I go to New York, I bet I'll find some.
I dug through my closet. I think it was 2 days ago, and I found my Jessie doll from the
Oh.
good old days.
Wow, she's probably so happy to see you.
I know.
Do not put her in that box. Don't put her
she
back in the box.
she was in a box on top of my closet with. I was going down memory lane. I had like a Simba plush toy, and Simba was also like sleep on the bed. I had a what's it called? I had a Bumblebee, like one of the classic Bumblebee. The when he was a bug, and
Yeah, a
then
little beetle.
yep, and then I had a Barbie, and she was from this movie, this Barbie movie called The Princess and the Pauper, and that was like I loved that movie as a kid. And so I found like that was like my toys in that box, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're still here."
So where do you have them now?
They are currently on the floor of my closet instead of on a shelf in my closet.
Oh. Did you play with them just for old time's sake?
I gave them a little bit of a dusting because they were pretty dirty.
Oh.
So I gave them a little wipe down. But I think I'm not as you're very minimalist, and I am the opposite of that, in the sense that I still have like action figures and stuff that I pose on my bookshelf. I have like an Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Leia from episode 6 when she's like a bounty hunter. I have
You got Wheezy right next to them?
I have a baby Grogu and like
Close enough.
a little Totoro from the Ghibli films.
Man, so you can't put Jessie up there with them?
I'm definitely gonna. Like that's why I dusted her off is I'm trying to make space on my
That
shelf
was your
'cause
girl. Come on.
I'm gonna put her up there. Absolutely. Now
All
that I
right.
found her, I'm not gonna let her go again.
I'm sure she's happy to hear this.
But Tony, this is Pixar's first movie.
I know. And didn't they knock it out the park?
They really did. You know, just off the get go, I really want to commend the voice acting of this movie. It's phenomenal. And to think that it's like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, these are pretty big names. Even like at the 90s time, I think this was them at their peak in a way. And they do amazing.
I was thinking that as well. While I was watching it, I was thinking, how do they get Tom Hanks and Tim Allen? Pixar wasn't even Pixar yet. They weren't established.
They weren't even part of Disney, right?
No. So how do they do that? I
Yeah.
guess they were sold on the story, right? And maybe like a little demo that they showed them. They saw a promise.
I'm assuming that, yeah. Let's see if I can find a little bit. It says they approached Billy Crystal to play Buzz,
Hmm.
but he turned down the role thinking that it would be unsuccessful because of animation.
Animation. Who cares about that?
Yeah. Let's see. They asked Tim Allen if he wanted to be in it, and he said absolutely because he liked being he was in Home Improvement at the time, and he wanted to be in a kids film. I don't see anything about Tom Hanks though.
I think a lot of actors have that thought come to mind. If they have kids, they think, all right, let me just do one kids movie just so that my kids can see me in them. This is one for them.
Yeah. I am reading though that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen recorded their lines together in the same room. That's so that way they could make the chemistry and the interactions realistic.
This should always be a thing.
I completely agree. I completely agree. It makes everything so much more absorbed. The voice actors have fun and they're able to feed off one another. I don't like I'm sure the classic way and like the best way or according to like sound engineers and stuff is to get them in a room by themselves reading lines, but this just feels so much more natural.
I bet it's easier with scheduling, it's easier with the quality of the sound. No feedback from other mics, no sounds from other people in the room, just one person
Mhm.
in a room. But yeah, it sound well, you know what? A lot of them sound pretty good, when they're done separately. But it just sounds more natural when they're together. It does sound like a conversation that could go faster back and forth.
And like this movie really highlights that. They have some good lines going back and forth. I love all of the nicknames Woody comes up with for Buzz.
What do you got?
I got like light beer.
Yeah.
Light Stack, Buzz Lightweight. These are just so good.
And Buzz doesn't have anything for Woody. He's just like, ah,
Woody.
you're the local sheriff. Perfect.
Local law enforcement seems
Yeah.
to be compliant.
Seems to be no sign of intelligent life. So we're not going to talk about the future movies too much, but I want to bring them up if they're relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say Woody, no, not Woody, Buzz. I guess Pixar loves this plot where Buzz is fish out of water because they do it every single movie.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you're right. In the second movie, it's
They have
the,
another Buzz
the
from
second
Alice Toy
Buzz.
Barn.
Yeah, with Zurg. And then in the third one,
And the third one,
he
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 gets reset.
yes, he speaks
He
Spanish.
goes to demo mode.
And then in the fourth,
In the fourth one, I don't remember. I was actually rewatching that recently, but
I don't. I gotta be honest with the fourth one. We'll get to it later on, but I don't remember the fourth one that much because it came out like in 2019.
yeah, I only saw it once.
Same. I only saw it once, but we'll get to that down the road. There must
But
have been a part where he was like searching for Woody and got lost and is like another fish out of water
put me in
story.
demo mode again.
But definitely, yeah, 1 through 3, something's always happening to him like that.
Yeah, so I guess Pixar just likes that.
It's funny. It works. It's not like as if it's the same thing where it's like, okay, Buzz, let's go over this again. But like, it's actually, it's done really cute.
By the third one, it feels like a little unnecessary, but the second one, it feels fresh and new because Buzz is still Buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a new Buzz, and he's trying to convince that Buzz.
Tell
And
me
this
I
one,
wasn't this deluded.
and this one is perfect. And this one, the way he's introduced. Oh, but we have to talk about that. This is one of the main questions, right, for Toy Story. What's your theory behind this? Because I'm sure we've all thought about it. Why does Buzz not know he's a toy? And what does that even mean?
Oh yeah, he's got like
And all the Buzzes don't know they're toys. Why is that?
maybe because they're like preloaded with all of these fancy schmancy voices and things like that they think they really are part of this big universe and not a toy.
They're too convinced by how they are decked out
I think yeah,
with
I think
everything they have.
because like the other toys in Andy's room are not smart toys in the sense of like they don't have batteries, and if they do it's like the RC controller car and stuff like that. But like, Potato Head and Rex and the piggy bank, they don't have batteries or features. They're aware that they're toys. Buzz comes along and he's got this like super power battery and he's got this laser and things like that.
That's true. And we were just talking about the demo mode thing.
Yeah.
So maybe every toy that needs batteries, they have to go through that phase of learning that they're toys.
Yeah.
But then also, and then here's the other thing. Before he even accepts that he's a toy, he plays dead when Andy comes in. He still goes along with it.
I think you just broke my brain. What?
Oh, I thought you've thought about this. This is a very common thing that is spoken about of Toy Story.
I have not thought about this. Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk it out. What do you think?
Let's go on this journey together. Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, so Buzz, he doesn't know he's a toy. He has to be convinced. But even before he's convinced, which is at Sid's house,
Yeah.
so almost halfway through the movie, he still pretends to be a toy whenever Andy takes him. Whenever Andy's playing with him or takes him somewhere, he pretends to be a toy.
Whoa.
Why do you think that is?
I guess maybe it's toy nature. He doesn't know it as toy nature, but it is.
So just like an instinct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it either.
If it was some kind of compelling force that like makes toys act like toys in front of their children, that would be something. But like Woody is able to break out of it. And
They have control over it. Yeah.
he calls Sid's sister, then obviously he scares Sid at the end and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. Maybe okay. I think either toy nature or what if he believes that being a toy for Andy is part of the mission?
It has to be something like that.
An order from Star Command?
Yeah, whenever he sees like a huge alien human being, he's like, "All right, play calm, play dead." I don't know. Or he sees that other people do it, so it's like the culture of this new planet.
Come in, Star Command. I have discovered a way to blend in peacefully with the giants here.
Yeah, he says something about like, "Hey, so it looks like I've been accepted by."
Local by the locals.
Well, when he shows that Andy wrote on his foot,
Yeah.
he's like, "It looks like I've been accepted by," I don't know what he said, "your overlord, whatever." So maybe it's something like that. Maybe he sees everyone else play dead, and he just assumes, "All right, I have to do the same thing for this guy."
Yeah. Yeah.
But he also does it for Sid. He does it for, I guess, the Pizza Planet driver. He kind of
Mhm.
just sits like a toy there with the seatbelt on.
That was so cute. Seeing
Yeah.
him sitting in the car with his seatbelt.
Yeah, I love how he's like, "We can't go to the back. There's no safety restraints. We're on the front." And then he clicks in.
I remember my mom using that as a reason because I didn't like wearing my seatbelt in the car. I didn't like the way it came across my neck and it hit me in my neck. And my mom was like, Caroline, you have to. Remember, Buzz says that it's not good for safety restrictions. And I was like, you're right. I should listen to Buzz. I clicked my seatbelt in.
What do you think, Jesse? And you're holding her. Should we put our seatbelt on?
I was like, okay, Jesse, we'll listen to your friend.
Just this once. I'll scrape my neck all over the seatbelt just for you.
I ended up liking it because then I would lean on the seatbelt, like I would rest my head on it, like a little
Yeah, it used to be
pillow.
good to sleep on.
Yeah. But I have that memory of my mom being like, but Caroline Buzz puts on his seatbelt. And I was like, you're right.
That's the classic way. You got to relate it to some movie that they saw.
Yep. Yep.
Don't you remember Popeye ate his spinach? That's way too old now.
Don't
Don't
you
you want to be
remember?
strong like Popeye?
Don't you remember Bugs Bunny drank his coffee? Come on, sip up.
Is that why? Is that how you?
No.
Is that how you were ruined? And I've never heard anyone say Bugs Bunny and drinking coffee. It's always just carrots.
That was a kind of new thing with like the newer Looney Tunes on HBO Max. That Bugs Bunny is like a coffee addict.
Wow.
I was just throwing that in there.
Okay. A lot is unfolding here. I have to take notes.
I have a question. I need your opinion on Woody.
Sure.
I kind of forgot how mischievous Woody is in Toy Story 1. I'm so used to him being the leader of the pack and like the go-to guy for Toy Stories 2 and 3. And I kind of forgot that in Toy Story 1 he's got a little bit of interesting side, wanting to push Buzz down the wall and stuff. I was like,
Yep.
hey, Woody.
I'm glad he brought this up, actually, because I wanted to ask you, too. Here's the way I see it. I got to defend Woody on this.
Okay.
I think Woody is definitely the leader, definitely caring of his pack, and overall a good guy. Definitely. Everything that Andy says at the end of 3, where he's like, oh, he'll never let you down. He'll never leave anyone behind. He's the most loyal. I believe all that is true about him.
Yep.
But then he does have real emotions. He does feel jealous. He does feel angry. He does get impatient. And I like that. I really do like that about him. And that moment where he got kicked out the window, I feel like that was his moment of weakness. But it really, to be fair, he really did not want him to go out the window. That really wasn't his fault. He wanted him to just get stuck behind the drawer, like fall behind, and then Andy won't see him, and then he gets taken instead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still mean. That is still mean, but he would have been safe. You know, he just wanted him to like fall behind the crack, and that's it. Yeah, I think that was Woody's moment of weakness, and that makes him a more layered character, which I like. And it adds to his confession when he's trapped in the crate, and Buzz is dealing with his realization of what is life and what's his point in the universe. Yeah, so I'm still on Woody's side on this, but yeah, he does have his flaws, and that was a mistake that he did, but I forgive him for that.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I love Woody. And I think I was just a little bit surprised and caught off guard because I didn't remember him that way. I always remembered him with that shining image. But I do love that Woody really goes out of his way and as far as he can to get Buzz back to Andy. Even though like he would that would have been perfect for him. It's like, oh, okay, Buzz is gone. This is great. But he's immediately racked with the guilt and not I think like a lot of it too, some people could see it negatively because of how the other toys are like, you took out Buzz, now we're kicking you out, like kind of thing. But he really is like, no, Buzz, we're gonna get you back to Andy. Like Andy is more fascinated with you than me. And he thinks of how sad Andy would be if he lost Buzz, and that's a big motivator for him.
Yeah, and I want to talk about some of those good moments. But yeah, you're right. He had the opportunity to just leave him. That was it. Mission accomplished. Now Andy's all his again. But starting from the beginning, I like the moment where he was pushed off the bed, right? And then Buzz Lightyear in his new box is on there. And then Potato Head is already pushing the buttons like, oh, he took your spot. Looks like Andy's got a new favorite. And then Woody, right off the bat, he could have been jealous and denied that and like, all right, forget this guy then. Already started scheming how to get him out the room. But he said, no, guys, that's not what's happening. Let's give him a warm Andy's room welcome. That's his first instinct. He said to go
Yeah.
up there and welcome a new toy. And he's really trying.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you said, that whole adventure is him trying to get Buzz back home. And also to clear his name too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't go back without Buzz. They'll never forgive me. So
Yeah.
he does have some of that, but he could have easily left Buzz. He has so many opportunities to leave Buzz. And I mean, in the bushes, at Pizza Planet, inside the alien claw machine, even at Sid's house, he could have left him, but he doesn't. He has multiple times where he rides it out with him. So yeah, Woody is he's still the man.
He's still the rootinest, tootinest cowboy
Yeah.
in the Wild Wild West.
I want to bring up Mr. Potato Head.
Okay.
This is another one throughout all three movies. Mr. Potato Head is always doubting Woody. He's always the first one
He's the foil
to want to kick out Woody and say like, oh, well, look at this guy. Let's stop following him.
He's abandoned us.
Yeah, he is. Oh my gosh. I like Mr. Potato Head, but he also, come on. Like he bothers me with these things. I like him and I want him part of the crew always. But man, in all three movies, watch. He's always doubting Woody. He's always the first one to go against Woody whenever there's a chance.
They call him out in the second one where Buzz is like, what, like, who's the toy that forgave you after you pushed him out of a moving van? And he's like, oh, we're still with that?
Yeah. What do you think about Mr. Potato Head?
I like him. He's so funny. I
He's
like
funny.
him. I like him more in the second one than the first one. Cause yeah, in the first one, he is like the instigator. He's the one that's like, I don't know. I smell something fishy. It's Woody. He did it. He lied.
Yeah. He's so quick to turn on Woody. Always.
Yeah.
But I like him. I do like him, but dang, man, come on. Where's the loyalty? So on that same note, my favorite character, Slinky.
That's
the man right there.
Slinky.
His voice, I love his voice. I love how loyal he is to Woody. And he was there until literally he had no other choice but to not believe Woody anymore. Like when he sees Buzz's loose arm, is like, all right, you can't really defend Woody. Or it looks like you can't anymore. And he was even sad about it. He didn't want to give up on Woody. He was disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Slinky is number one best friend right there.
My favorite is Ham.
Ham.
I love him. He's so funny. He's got so many good one-liners throughout, at least like so far, because I've seen 1 and 2 recently. 1 and 2, he never fails to get a laugh out of me. The way to go, Idaho, way to go. When they're talking at the end where it's like, it's a Mrs. Potato Head.
Yeah, I better shave.
I think, and then the one of my favorite ones, I have this saved as a meme. It's actually Ham and Mr. Potato Head, but it's Mr. Potato Head going like, "Hey, look, I'm Picasso," and he's like, "I don't get it," and he goes, "You uncultured swine."
Yeah. I don't know why, but I like that Ham is fast with doing things.
Yes,
So with like putting the battery back in. Even
putting
though
the
Woody's like, oh, come on, let me do it. Negative to negative, positive to positive.
plus is positive, minus is negative.
And then I like how quickly he was going on the remote. This is
I
a
love,
too. He's like,
I love
he's like,
that.
stop. He's like, I gotta go all the way around now.
How can you tell what's going on? I can tell. Like, oh, there it is. It goes, I'm already in the 40s. It's better go around the curve.
I don't know why he's so fast, but I just really like that.
That is me that's like a perfect just depiction of me and my mom as I'm channel surfing. She's like, how could you tell? I was like, I could tell. I'm just going,
So here's another thing I was thinking about, but this is one that I don't really see much people mention. Why is Ham a toy? Why does he come to life? He's a piggy bank.
He's a piggy bank, but he's not a glass piggy bank. He's like a plastic piggy bank.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I don't think the material matters. I thought he just had to be. Well, this is what we got to talk out, right? Like, why is he a toy?
That's the same thing with Bo Peep.
That's the same thing with Forky.
Yeah,
Or Sporky. I don't know what his name. I think it's Forky.
Forky.
Forky. And Forky's another one that adds to this theory because he got created. He came from nothing.
This is getting into a real existential toyism.
Yeah.
We're getting into the nitty gritties of Toy Story.
So what is it? Do they have to be loved? Do they have to be played with?
I think it's played
that
with.
Makes them a toy?
Played with.
Like, what if they play with a shoe?
Played with and named.
That makes sense. What if they play and name a shoe or a toothbrush?
Then it's alive.
It becomes alive.
Toothy.
Shoey. We're home.
Hey, that guy's got soul. But
But yeah, there's a few of them like that. I thought about Wheezy as well, but he's a chew toy, so that's fine, right? He has a squeaker. I think he's a chew toy meant for pets.
Yeah.
But he's still a toy, so I think we could count that. And what about Etch and Sketch? He's just alive.
He's just alive. That's something that is played with by a kid.
Yeah.
Well, Etch and Sketch. I love that Etch and Sketch. Etch is like a photographic memory. They do the composites and stuff like that. That's a Toy Story too. I need a limit, but I do like that he is the one that draws everything. And then they have what's it called? The guy with the microphone. I can't remember what they call him.
Oh, I forgot, but I know what you mean.
Just a variation of toys. And they were really creative on how they wrote the dynamic between all the toys. I like that they have staff meetings and stuff like that.
I think this movie is really unique for that aspect. I really like Toy Story because all the stories in the franchise feel meaningful, and I feel like it plays out in a very smart way. I feel like they worry about things that they would worry about, like being replaced by newer toys. Andy getting older. Andy catching them, or Andy getting older. They want playtime. And the staff meetings are so smart. It's like, find a moving buddy, and also Andy's birthday is today. What?
It's today? I thought his birthday wasn't until next week. Yes, but they pushed it up because of the move.
The whole Army Men segment.
That was so smart. I loved that whole sequence in the movie.
Right?
What did they call when they were like radioing in?
Code Red, but something before that. That's what you're asking, right?
That's like their contact name. It was like Mothership or something like that.
I forgot what it was.
These guys are professionals, and that whole scene where like one of them gets stepped on,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Leave me!" And then he picks him up and takes him into
A
the.
good soldier never leaves a man behind. Come
Ah, I
on.
love it. That was like so gripping. And they have the
Yeah.
baby monitor. Like, smart, so smart. Coming, Mother Bird. Was it Mother Bird? Mother.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right.
It is Mother Bird. Haha.
I feel like everything just flows. Everything's very coherent. Everything makes sense on why they're worried about things, why the story is important. And I feel like this is what I'm kind of I think I brought it up in our Pixar conversation, but this is what I'm kind of missing from newer Pixar movies. Like even these small toys and what's going on with them, I feel like the stakes are higher and more important with what's going on here than in the newer Pixar movies. It's just like, oh, we got to make this concert, you know?
You know what? When we initially had our talk about this subject, I didn't really get it. I think I wasn't fully capable of comparing the two since I hadn't seen Toy Story in a long time. But now that I have seen it, I do get it and I understand. I feel like a lot of what's missing is part of the dynamic and the stakes. Because even like getting to a concert could be important if you frame it the right way. And then even like the way that they frame their friendships too. In Toy Story, they just all feel so real and their relationships are so funny and interesting to watch, and a lot of it is quick humor and it's said really well and the voice acting is great. And in the others it lacks a little bit of that substance in these newer ones.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I think the new ones are still good. I really do.
Yeah, nothing against it, but it's just the like this classic of Toy Story just really hits it. It hits it really well.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to explain. It's just they have a coherent plot and everything makes sense.
Mhm.
I love the finale of this movie.
When they go into the car, the
Just the whole thing, the whole setup of
Buzz.
This is when Woody is saving Buzz. This is when they finally work together. This is when Buzz came to accept himself as a toy and his purpose in
Yeah.
life. And then making it to the moving truck, a moving day, that's a big deal. And you know, all the other toys realizing Woody, he wasn't lying. There's Buzz.
The finale is so grand and it's just all of these plot lines coming together with like the way you said it, Buzz is existentialism, getting back to Andy, the toys realizing everything. It's just all of these subplots and plot lines just converge into this one epic moment of lighting the match and the rocket and taking off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the music picks up because it's silent and you're left there like, oh no, what are they gonna do? And then as soon as that rocket catches fire, it's like dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, Buzz, we missed the truck, we're not aiming for the truck.
But to add to what makes that moment even more special, we got to talk about Buzz's realization, right?
Right.
Let's. I want to hear what you thought about it now, what you thought about it when you saw it as a kid, like the whole moment when he saw that commercial of a Buzz Lightyear toy and him trying to fly off the balcony. What did you think about all that?
You know, when I first saw it, I didn't really get it. I think I was too young to fully comprehend what plot line they were putting in my face. I was a wee lass. But now seeing it, I really liked it. I like that he is the same person but with a different belief. I don't know if that makes sense. Like
You're explaining it accurately. Yes, I
he's
like
the
that.
he's the same person but just with a different outlook, cuz when he's Buzz Lightyear of Star Command or of Starfleet, he's that like brash, and he's out there, he's big and bold, always doing these big movements, talking real Tim Allen, like just. And then when he comes to the realization that he's a toy and there's a kid that still loves him, and that kid loves him and wants to spend a lot of time with him, and he's his favorite and he brings him joy. He is the same person. He is right there with Woody, like helping him all along the way, and I really liked that. I liked that they kept that consistency.
Yeah, I really like how you described it. It's funny, but it makes sense. Like this is Buzz, but now he's thinking differently. Or how he says it. I'm finally seeing things clearly for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I asked you, like, how did you see it as a kid? And I felt the same way as you. I feel like it went over my head. I could tell it was a sad moment,
Yeah.
obviously, with the context clues of how it was, the song that was playing, how he was just,
I could tell because Woody was always the one emoting and going like, no, like kind of thing, where I was like, oh no, they're sad, or oh no, they're upset.
yeah, good facial expressions
Mm-hmm.
conveying that. But I'll tell you, as a kid watching that scene, I didn't fully understand what happened to Buzz. But that scene when he's trying to fly, he sets up his wings and he's determined to fly out the window.
Oh yeah, with that Randy Newman song.
Yeah.
I'm not sailing no more.
For that scene, I desperately wanted him to fly. As a kid, I believed so much that he
I
was going to
believe
fly.
that he was gonna fly, yeah.
And it just broke my heart to see him falling. That's the part I didn't understand. I'm like, why is he falling? He could fly. Why can't he fly?
And then his arm popped off, and I was like,
Yeah. Seeing the toys break sucks. I do not
oh,
like watching that. Woody's arm being ripped. I don't like Woody's forehead being burned in.
oh, I know. That hurt me. I was never destructive with my toys. I would always take care of them. And I remember, I think it was a Bionicle of mine. The piece broke, like it clean broke. And I remember I was so brokenhearted. My dad took me to the Lego store that we have in the north side and was like, her Bionicle broke. Do you just sell this piece? Like, I just want to replace it.
What happened?
And they said, no, but like you could buy, like they had like a little pack that you could, like they didn't sell it on its own, but they had it like in a pack of like other pieces. And so dad was like, we'll take it. We'll take the pack. So she could fix her Bionicle.
I thought you were gonna pull a Lotso Huggin Bear on your Bionicle. Just replace him.
No.
He peeks through the window like, she got a new one.
How
She
could
replaced me.
I was loyal. Especially with the Bionicle, like you built that. You built that with your hands. There's a
Right.
connection.
Just like IKEA, same theory behind that.
Exactly, yeah.
One last thing I wanted to mention about the bus scene. That commercial was set up perfectly to be a huge punch in the gut.
Oh yeah.
Do you realize like how many times they catch him and like make him feel horrible? Starting with the Buzz Lightyear, come in. This is Star Command. He's like, oh, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command. I hear you. And then you hear the kid say it instead. And then it's like
Yep.
Buzz Lightyear, the new coolest toy. And then it's like glow in
Your
the dark.
favorite child's plaything now
Yeah.
has his glow in the dark.
And then it says not a flying toy. Like, oh man,
It's just punch after punch.
So that I love all that setup because it's a huge payoff at the end. When Woody goes, Buzz, you're flying.
We're not flying. It's falling with style.
I love that. I love that moment so much. It's
So
like
cool. So cool.
he learned to accept what he really is, but that guy was flying. I'll tell you what.
He owned it.
He was flying, Caroline.
He was. He was.
Oh, and I like when he did the first flight in the room.
Oh,
Right? He got really lucky.
he
was
got
like,
stuck
"Whoa,
on that
whoa,
ceiling
whoa."
thing. He was going like supersonic.
But I like how they were arguing at first and that he ends it with can. Remember they were like can. It's like can.
I'll tell you what though, one of the saddest scenes in this movie is seeing, like, this just led me to that thought process of how everything in the room is slowly replaced with Buzz Lightyear stuff. Like, if you
Yeah.
notice, Andy has like bed sheets that are cowboy, and he
Yep.
has a drawing of Woody on his like corkboard, and then it starts getting replaced with space stuff, Buzz Lightyear. And then like he goes to Pizza Planet and he sees everything is space themed. Like this is the thing for the kids now.
This was a really smart way of showing that. It wasn't in your face, but yeah, just how you're calling it out now. It's like sci-fi is cool now. Cowboys are lame. You know, that's old news. Now it's space rangers and sci-fi and space.
And you think about it, it rings very true when you think of like the movie industry, how westerns were huge in like the oh my gosh, like the 40s up until the 80s, like the 70s, 80s. And then Star Wars comes out and Star Trek and huge franchises from that. Now it's like
Yeah.
try to pick a blockbuster hit that's not a sci-fi. You got like Titanic.
That's another conversation of why that happened and where the movie industry is headed now. Because the most obvious answer people would say is that it got oversaturated with westerns. People just got tired of it. Another angle could be what you said, like sci-fi came out and it's like, whoa, this is really cool. Way cooler than the western stuff. That could be another thing. But I hear the oversaturation argument more because people are trying to apply that now to the comic book movies, because we've had an explosion of them. Really starting with the MCU in 2008, but you know, we've had X-Men and Spider-Man in the early 2000s. But now it's every single TV show, every movie, like you can't escape it. And people are trying to say like this bubble's going to burst soon, but it hasn't. It's still going really strong, actually, with no signs of stopping yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Could westerns make a comeback? Or is it officially just old news? Like, nah, we don't want that anymore. Sorry, Woody.
Has Woody's Roundup been officially rounded up? Tune in next week to find out.
Is that what they say?
I don't know.
But yeah, I do like that. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't even write that down or anything. But really interesting that that's an underlying story that's going on too. And they expand on it on part 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Woody is like an older toy. He's not a Buzz Lightyear, you know, fresh 1995 made toy. He's a family heirloom doll. So you pull the string and he talks and that's it. And then here comes this fancy schmancy spaceman with his glow in the dark spacesuit and wings. And this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
Yeah, he's actually a really rare toy from what we see in part 2. Al the toy collector.
I was thinking about it because I had a Woody, I had a Jessie, and I had a Bullseye, but I did not have a Buzz Lightyear.
Did you have a Stinky Pete? Prospector Pete?
Did they even make a toy of him?
I'm sure
like,
they did. There's no way they could have left him out. Yeah. There's no way.
Stinky Pete Prospector toy.
There's a Lotso Huggin' Bear. Come on.
Oh my gosh, they did.
Of course.
Whoa. Woody's Roundup. Come on, it's time to play.
You know, come to think of it now, who's the villain of this movie? Because we had Stinky Pete, we had Lotso Huggin' Bear.
Sid.
We got to talk about Sid, Caroline.
We got to talk about Sid.
Was it Sid? Was it? Or was it Mr. Potato Head? Let's get into this.
Who's the real villain? An innocent...
I'm going to make a video essay pretty soon on this.
Child? You're going to... the thumbnail. Mr. Potato Head was the villain the whole time.
No, I'm going to put who was the real villain of Toy Story. I'll put Sid, and then I'll put a silhouette like, who's that Pokemon? I'll put a silhouette of Mr. Potato Head with a question mark.
Beautiful.
And it'll be a 2-hour video. I'll really fill it up with filler.
I think the villain of this movie is Woody's jealousy.
Yeah, let's break this down because, well, can we start with Sid? Because I have some questions about Sid.
Yeah. Let's start with Sid.
All right. So let's keep in mind, Sid is a little kid.
Yeah.
He's blowing up toys.
How old do you think he is?
He's older than Andy, right?
Yeah.
Andy's supposed to be. Let's see. He goes to college in Toy Story 3. He's 17 there. And then Toy Story
18.
2, or 18, I guess, yeah. And then Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 3, it is supposed to be close to real life years that pass by. So,
He's supposed to be 6 years old in Toy Story 1.
oh, I bet. So, can you get the actual answer for Sid then? Because I was going to say maybe 2 years older.
Let's see. How old is Sid in Toy Story? 10 years old.
Oh, all right. Okay, there you go.
I was going to guess 12, but okay, he's 10
Oh, I
years
would have
old.
gone that old. No, I think 10 is good.
He's 10.
So, keep in mind, he's a little kid. He's blowing up toys. But also, he doesn't know toys are alive. This is just fun for him. He likes blowing up toys. So my question is he in the wrong? And also, is this showing signs of trouble?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes? Okay, go
Yes
ahead.
and yes.
The
I
floor is
think
yours.
I think there is something a little bit deranged about wanting to blow up your toys. It's the same kind of conversation we've had with like serial killers that torture animals. It's just
Wait, let me jump in on that.
okay.
I feel like that's the comparison that was gonna be made, but
Like he
I
doesn't
don't want to.
treat
I don't want to
his
believe that though.
he doesn't treat his dog wrong, but I'm just saying it might be a negative, a bad behavior indicator if he's blowing up toys.
Yeah, and they really do want you to think about it that way too. You know, he wears like a skull shirt.
He's got all these locks on his
I love
door.
explosions on his wall. Same sign that Davey has in his room.
In his heart.
He orders probably like illegal fireworks online. Where does he get these fireworks from?
Yeah. How do you order stuff online in 1995 too? It's like, wow, kid.
I know. What he was already on the black market or whatever.
He was on the dark web.
But I don't know. I don't want to accept that this is supposed to be some sort of weird, very distant analogy to like kids hurting animals and stuff. I don't want to see it like that for some reason. I don't like that comparison, and I know it's not like that's like way more extreme than what he's doing. But also, let's keep in mind we know Sid's future
Yeah.
in Toy Story 3, and he turns out to just be like a a garbage truck driver who's just
Yeah,
listens
waste
to
management.
music and yeah, he's all good. He's still into rock and things like that. But I don't know, like let's say this isn't Toy Story, it's the real world and these toys don't have lives and feelings and can't get hurt. Is it still wrong what he's doing?
I think it's a little bit messed up to cut up or to blow up your toys. Just think about it. Like this is something that his parent gave him or bought him. And he's got these tendencies to want to blow it up. Like, have you ever seen like pyromaniacs? They like to set things on fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of like
definitely the
that.
territory he's in for sure.
Yeah. So it's just, and then another thing too is how he even like, if it was his own toys, I wouldn't be as judgmental. But it's the fact that he also steals his sister's doll and takes
Yeah,
off
that's
her
mean.
head,
That's mean.
and stuff like that. Like that's really messed up when you start taking your sister's stuff and messing with it.
So you think this is definitely bad warning signs?
Yes.
Okay.
Is he a bad kid overall? Maybe not. But this is definitely an indicator that he needs a little bit of extra love and care.
So I agree with a lot of that. But let's get back to, is he the villain of this movie? Because again, in his world, he's blowing up dolls that mean nothing. It's just plastic and stuffing. He's just blowing it up, minding his own business. That's what he finds fun. And he has no involvement with the journey at all that they're going through until he pulls up Buzz from the claw machine and he takes him home because, hey, he got lucky. But yeah, he had really no influence in the story until they reach him. What do you think? Think about the Prospector and think about Lotso Hugging Bear. How much they influence the story.
I'm even thinking about like Al from Al's Toy Barn. He like actively stole Woody.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sid never stole any of Andy's toys. He just, yeah, he got lucky in a claw machine game.
Yeah, and he's like, and I like blowing up toys. These are new toys I could blow up.
Okay, he's not the villain, but he is definitely an obstacle to the goal.
All right, so now Mr. Potato Head.
Okay. The floor is now yours, my friend.
I had nothing written down about this. It's just coming to mind right now. Let's think about how many times Mr. Potato Head ruined it for our Woody and Buzz. Woody could have easily saved Buzz at the end.
He's the one that pushes the Christmas lights away, right?
Yeah, they could have easily been saved right there.
They could have easily got into Andy's room. They could have just, this whole movie would have been cut in half.
Yeah, he's the one that even says like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we're gonna let him come back in. Remember what he did to Buzz, guys." Mr. Potato Head, give him a break,
on, man.
Give him a break. Jeez.
He's the one that like rallies all the toys together to push Woody off the truck, and
yeah, get him, guys.
He like Lord of the Fly style. He rallies everybody up.
Yeah, like, do you see what I'm talking about? With like, are they even friends that he could so easily, so strongly dislike Woody like that?
Are we gonna get into the conspiracy theory territory and think maybe Mr. Potato Head wanted to be the head honcho, wanted to be the sheriff?
He even says that. He says, "What about me, Woody? What about if Andy starts playing with me some more? You're gonna throw me out the window?" He said that. You remember, right?
He did. He did.
All right, video essay coming soon.
You gotta make that thumbnail. I want to see that.
Who's that Pokemon?
Who's the real villain of toy? Who's that Potato Head?
I honestly was not planning for this conversation, but I think is all coming together now. It's making more and more sense.
It's all the pieces have come together in this Potato Head.
They're falling in place.
The face has been revealed. But no, I think the real villain was not being friends.
Friendship and the lack thereof.
The lack of friendship. It was Woody thinking if you can't beat him, join him, and just making pals with Buzz, because that's what, if he hadn't been, he's still a good guy, but if he hadn't been blinded by his jealousy of Andy, if he had kept going down his ways, he would have really missed out on a best friend that he found in Buzz.
Yeah. I feel bad for Slinky.
I'm sorry, Slinky.
Yeah, because I was just going to think, who's Woody's best friend before Buzz?
It was definitely Slinky.
Slinky, right?
Yep. I mean, you can have more than one best friend, but
sure.
Buzz is definitely his partner.
Yeah. So I want to bring up, because we didn't mention this, but we're recording this in anticipation of Lightyear, which is coming out soon.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there is a line in here. Well, not a line, but a small scene of Woody saying, "Guys, he thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear." Can you believe that? Buzz thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear. So, is that what Lightyear is going to be about?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We already know that's the plot, but I just want to know, because I haven't dug too much into Lightyear. I haven't read anything on Wikipedia or whatever. But how far is this supposed to go? Is there a real Star Command? Is there a real Zurg? Is there a real what's the planet called? I don't remember now, but he mentions a planet. You remember when they were fighting underneath the car? He's like, on my planet, we don't seek out revenge, but we're not on my planet. I don't think he mentions it, actually. Oh, and real quick, one of my favorite lines from Buzz is when he's getting like beat up by Woody, and it goes, "Buzz, Buzz, Buzz, Lightyear to the rescue."
They bring that out again in Toy Story 2 when Buzz is getting beat up by Zurg. Buzz, Buzz, Lightyear to the rescue. There was a show that came out in the year 2000.
I know
Uh,
he had a cartoon,
yeah,
right?
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and it's called Capital Planet, is where he's from.
Oh, okay, that's where they don't seek revenge.
Yeah, that's like the story of Buzz Lightyear. He's not a toy or anything. It's like him and his in Star Command, and he's got a Starfleet team, and they're battling against Emperor Zurg.
That's why I'm curious about Lightyear. I don't want to know a lot of information, and I don't know how much you know about it, but that's way more sci-fi than what we're seeing here in Toy Story. You know, like if they know a Buzz Lightyear exists, that means they know part of what he's been doing. So that means they know of a Star Command, right? They know that he's been to space. They know that he probably, or what's it called,
Planet?
Capital Planet. That means the some people have to know that's real, right? And I'm talking about humans now, right? Because Buzz Lightyear is real in this world. That gets more sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little
I
weird.
think you're taking it a little bit too literal.
How do
I think when he says the real Buzz Lightyear, he's talking about the character in the show.
not a real person?
Yeah, it's like telling an Optimus Prime toy, he thinks he's the real Optimus Prime. He thinks he is the Optimus Prime in the Transformers show. So when Woody is
Okay.
saying he thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear, it's he thinks he's the Buzz Lightyear in the show Buzz Lightyear. Not that
See, because we don't know that yet in this movie,
capital.
though.
I, I don't think Starfleet and Star Command are real in the world of Toy Story, Tony.
That's what I'm saying. This is what we're breaking down here. That's what I'm getting
We're
at.
dissecting this.
Hold on. Yeah, because there is no Buzz Lightyear show in Toy Story 1 yet.
There is, because there's like a video game.
And that's in part 2.
But you would think that the toy would be based on a show or a video game and stuff.
It could be, but not always, right? Like, look at Mr. Potato Head. I know Woody has
Yeah.
Woody's Roundup.
Yeah.
Well, now with Lightyear, isn't Buzz based off of Chris Evans?
He definitely looks like him. He's still got that Buzz chin, but got that Chris Evans hair, the stance. You want to guess who plays Emperor Zurg?
Emperor Zurg is confirmed for Lightyear?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you didn't know?
No.
He is confirmed.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Do you want to guess who's voicing him?
Yeah, I know who it is. Let me see. Don't tell me his name. James Earl Jones?
No.
Oh, dang. All right, that was my guess.
You want to know now? You want me to just tell you?
Can I get it, you think? If I kept guessing?
Yeah, I think so. I'll give you like 2 more guesses.
It's somewhat relevant to the things I like in the movies I like?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Denzel Washington?
No.
All right. It's Chris Pratt.
No.
All right, who is it?
He's so cool. It's James Brolin, who is
Oh my gosh, are you serious? No way. Captain America versus Thanos again?
I think I thought that, but this is James Brolin, not
Oh, I thought you
Josh
said
Brolin.
Josh. No, you said Josh.
I thought I said James. I don't think I said Josh.
I'm gonna rewind this.
Okay.
I think you said Josh.
Okay.
But hold on. I don't want to call you out on that because maybe it's my old man ears.
He is Josh Brolin's father.
All right, that's fine. James Brolin. I
James
really
Brolin.
thought I heard Josh, but maybe it's what I wanted to hear. Maybe it's what I wanted to hear.
I was gonna say, when I was first looking into, I've only seen one trailer, and I hadn't really looked into it. But when I was scrolling through, I have an app called Flickster, which tells me movies coming up. And if you tap on it, it'll tell you like if the tickets are sold and stuff, and then who's in it. So it was like Chris Evans, and then number 2, I read it and it said James Brolin, but I read it as how I wanted it to be and thought it was Josh Brolin. And so I went through those same emotions where I was like, oh my gosh. But then I was like, wait, it says James.
We need a recast.
Just one generation lower.
Josh Brolin for Zurg.
Call your son.
Call in sick and tell him your son can step in. Oh, that could have been so cool. Imagine the memes.
It would have been beautiful.
Man, whoever's in that timeline, let us know. You can email us.
I want to know
or
that
write in the comments.
multiverse. Give me the digits.
Yeah. All right, so I was way overthinking that Buzz Lightyear thing then. Let's move on.
Did you know that Pixar, like, so just in comparison, The Lion King came out a year prior and it was made by 800 people. Toy Story came out the year after and it was made by 110 people. They had kind of a small staff.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
800 people for Lion King?
Yep. In total, artists, writers, composers, everything.
Wow.
Voice actors, 800 people.
Yeah, 120 is pretty small for Toy Story.
110.
110.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you did say James, you see? I heard 120.
You hear what you want to hear.
I'm going to go back. I'll send you. When I edit this, I'll send you exactly what you said.
Another voice clip in the doc.
Yeah.
In the drive.
No, I'll just confirm. I'll be like, yeah, you said James.
One of these people, his name was Andries Van Dam, and he was a university professor for animation. He was for computer science, but he was like a 3D animation pioneer, because 3D animation was pretty hard to grasp in the 90s. You know, everything was being 2D still.
I can imagine.
And he was the one that taught the Pixar animators how to do the animation style and like taught them everything he knows. And then Pixar just picked it up and ran. And so to pay an homage to him, his name is Andries Van Dam, and that's where we get the name Andy for the little boy.
Oh, okay. I feel like you've told me that, or maybe I've heard it before. But yeah, I like that.
I just discovered it this morning, so maybe you've heard it before.
Something's happening here where I'm not in tune right now. I'm not in tune.
We need to recalibrate, Tony. Quick.
Yeah, and everything's fine too. Everything's fine. I haven't had like a lack of sleep or anything.
Yeah, you're not in the 12 hours, but you're not in the 3 hours either.
Yeah. So I have no excuses today.
We're
gonna a little bit on that note. Oh yeah, what? You want to recalibrate me?
We're gonna do a little recalibration. I want you to finish the word. When I say a word, I want you to finish it, okay?
Sure.
Buzz.
Lightyear.
Woodies.
Roundup.
Okay, you're recalibrated.
Okay.
All right, what were you gonna say?
So on this animation note, I just want to ask you I think it's a small question. Being that we have a video game background.
Yes.
Should this movie have a remaster?
Wouldn't that be something amazing?
What do you think?
To see?
What do you think if this movie looked exactly? I mean, it
shot
played
for shot
exactly
remake.
the same. Yeah, but it looked like Toy Story 4.
I would see it. I would. I was kind of astonished how this is I still like this movie. I think it looks great, but I was astonished at how bad the humans looked in this movie.
Well, that was their whole thing, right? We definitely spoke about this.
Yes,
They made it about toys because it looks too plasticky. And
they made it about toys because they could make toys and make them look good, and they couldn't make humans look good.
Right.
But like, what's their movie after this? Yeah, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc. Think about how Boo looks, and even Boo looks a little bit off, you know?
And I think it's also because they're getting so much better at it, it's looking worse when you go back.
Yeah, that's definitely the contributing factor, is because if you look at like Coco and then you go and see Toy Story 1 and you're like, whoa, that's the same studio? Oh, how the passage of time teaches us many things.
But what do you think about preserving the art of the movie and how this is the way it was made? So this is the way it should be watched.
I think it's part of the whole, while I would like to indulge that curiosity of what if this movie was made using today's Pixar's animation. Like Toy Story 4 is cutting edge 3D animation technology. It's beautiful. But I think that is part of the charm and the nostalgia of Toy Story 1 is how everything looks.
I think so too. I think in video games we want things to play better and look better, and we don't have that conversation enough. If like, wait, we should leave it the way it was. We should play it the way it was too, because that's the way it was made at the time, and it shows how much further we've came since that point. So with Toy Story, it's like this is a classic. This is a movie that people around the world loved, that earned so many awards and 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and all that. Like this is an excellent movie.
We hadn't even mentioned that Toy Story is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow.
Yes, indeed. Do you think it's worthy of this 100%?
Yeah, I give him a 100. It's pretty good. And there's never a moment in the movie that I feel bored. And not only do I not feel bored, but every moment is dedicated to something important and it's funny and it's got a great pacing and everything. So
Yeah, it's not very long either, an hour and a half.
it's got a good message. It's about friendship. There's no real villain. There's no bad influences and things
Well,
like
Mr.
that.
Potato Head,
There's no real villain sans Mr. Potato Head.
right?
It's good for kids and parents. Yeah, I think it's a 100.
I think so too.
But you're right. When it comes to film, that's another thing too. Just let's just broaden our mind a little bit and how a movie
All
is
right.
also a
12th
product of
dimension opening up.
the Tesseract.
All right, I'm here, Caroline. Where do you want me to check?
Think about a movie and what plays into it. A lot of it is, of course, what's in it, the substance, the what's it about, who's in it, things like that. But it's also about the year it came out. You know, the year and the time goes into a lot of how we think about movies. We've talked a lot about how we love the graininess of like the 80s and 90s movies, the look, the camera. And I think Toy Story with the animation is the same way. Part of the charm and part of what we love about it is the animation, even if it kind of looks a little wonky.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be left exactly the same for those reasons. Imagine we got a HD 4K remaster of A Bronx Tale or any other movie that you like.
Shot in, what's that Hobbit frame rate?
Oh, 48 frames.
48 frames per second.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll look nice, but you also have to keep the old one. You have to keep it original as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's the same thing as this is a topic for another time, but I'll touch on it briefly about the whole live action remakes with Disney. They're making them
Oh,
in
if
this
that's necessary?
like they're remaking them. That's what they're doing. They're like, "Oh, we're going to remake these movies but live action because live action is better." When part of the charm and part of what we loved about the original movie is the animation.
The clunky animation.
Sometimes, like Beauty and the Beast is so beautiful in its animation style.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, at that point I was just thinking about like all older anime. Well, that looks like still excellent. I guess I was throwing in Toy Story in there as well. Like they've got better at animating too.
If I was to think about like how Toy Story would look if Toy Story 1 was done in the style of Toy Story 4, I think it would be a neat thing to see once, but if I had to pick, like if I was sitting down to watch Toy Story and Disney Plus and it was like, do you want Toy Story 1 1995 or like Toy Story remake, 2027,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, I kind of want to watch the 95. I want to watch the one I grew up with. I want to watch the first one.
Yeah, it's the one that looks right.
Yeah. Now, did you know that this movie at 81 minutes is the shortest Pixar movie?
Really?
I did not know that.
Also, it's not even an hour and a half.
It's yeah, you're right. It's not even an hour and a half. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
They do good timing on it.
I like it. Sometimes long is not better, especially for a kid's film.
Yeah. I'm always of the mind, make the movie as long as you need it to be and no longer or no shorter.
Yeah, yeah. Another little tidbit I found that was really funny is that the animation team, when they were trying to reference and animate the movement of the toy soldiers, they nailed a pair of sneakers to a sheet of wood and had people walk
Oh
on
my
them.
gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's how like their movements doing that is how they got the movements for the toy soldiers.
Were the performer saying like, John, could we just use the toy soldiers and like wobble them
Movement.
around? No, we're
No,
gonna have to put you in a mocap suit and you're gonna have to walk with a plank.
no, we're gonna get your brand new Nikes, nail them to this board, and then
You walk in it.
walk.
There's little things like that. That attention to detail is really good.
I love it when animators do reference work. I want them to release the pic. I wonder if I could find that.
Of them wobbling around.
Wobbling around. Okay, I found it. Check this out. They nailed the shoes to that wooden board.
Oh.
You see that?
Yeah. She even looks like she's saying, "Are you sure about this, John? You
Yeah.
just use little toy soldiers."
She's got the face of that they made her walk around in those.
She's presenting it to the judge. This is what they made me wear. This is how I broke my ankle.
This is unsafe work environments.
Couldn't they just like play with the toy soldier and record how it looked when it walked?
They could have stop motioned and then be like, okay. But I think they really wanted to, since the toys are coming to life, they wanted to see like how would they move their shoulders and stuff like that.
The way I would walk in that is, imagine how it'll look just by the sound effect. I'll be going, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's how I'll walk in that.
I can imagine that perfectly. I wouldn't even walk in that. I would fall, and not with style.
Immediately?
Yeah. I would take one step, wobble a bit, and then land flat on my face. It would be a whoa.
Because also what I'm saying doesn't make sense is that you have to bend your knees and like sway around while you're walking in that.
I don't think
And
it's been your. I think you have to move your upper body and like lean in so that way a foot moves forward. Like you got to shuffle it a bit.
You got to bend your knee too.
Now I'm tempted to try this, but I don't want to give up any of my shoes.
I'm sure you got to bend your knees to do this, and the toy soldiers don't have to bend their knees.
Can I find it? Hang on, I want to see a play-by-play. Toy soldiers, Toy Story. I want to see them walk. Come on. All right, I'm watching it. They are not moving their knees. Their knees are straight.
Exactly.
There's
yeah.
no bends.
And I bet in real life you have to bend your knees to walk in that.
I don't think you have to bend your knees. I think you can do it.
No, imagine when you're putting weight on one foot to lift the other foot, you're bending your knee.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yes. Good. I'm telling you.
You sound like you're saying this from experience. Like you have nailed your shoes to a board and walked like a toy soldier.
I'm going to show you a picture of something I got in my garage.
Oh no. This is how you practice jump rope.
It looks oddly similar to this. But either way, I guess it was just a cool thing to do. Animators getting to hobble around on a plank.
That's one of the fun parts, is being like, all right, we need reference material for this. Grab a board.
Yeah. There was a lot of good ones. Like Slinky was really good. Just animated, I mean. Etch and Sketch. There's toys where they really thought out like how they're supposed to be moving. Rex, like look at the way that Rex walks. He can't bend his knees.
He's so clunky, but I love the way that he moves around all like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Ham. his nubs.
He's so cute.
So yeah. This being your first animated movie, come on.
They did a pretty good job.
That's impressive.
There's a reason that they're on the map after one film.
That's what I'm saying.
Just as a little bit of like a comparison, Studio Ghibli, it took them Spirit Away, and that was like maybe their 6th movie.
What was their first one? Did we see it?
Yeah, we did. Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky was their first animated movie.
Yeah. And it came out in like the 80s, but it didn't hit the United States until like 2003.
That was a good movie. Maybe they just didn't market themselves enough. Maybe they needed some Gary V, get on TikTok,
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stop you
Instagram.
right there, Buckaroo.
What happened? What did I say?
With Gary V.
Yeah, they needed Gary V their movies. Get on
Anyway,
Instagram, TikTok.
Pixar made one film, and they put a lot of care and a lot of consideration into this, and they made it for kids. They did a good job at making it aimed at kids, but even adults can relate.
That's all Pixar movies now. They nailed it from the very beginning. The dialogue is good enough for adults to sit through it.
Yeah. And even was it John Lasseter, because they screened this movie to a preview audience before the premiere to see if they really had a hit or if they had to scrap it. And John Lasseter in an interview said that he knew he had a hit on his hands when he heard adults sobbing in the screening when Buzz doesn't fly and he's on the ground and his arm is broken.
I'm not the only one. Oh, especially when he goes, I just remembered, to infinity and beyond. And then he jumps as far as he can and doesn't make it.
I could fly if I wanted to.
That scene is rough in a kid's movie.
It was quite disheartening because I think as a kid, I believed in Buzz. Oh, he's the real Buzz Lightyear. And then as a kid, you kind of go through those same roller coaster of emotions with Buzz where it's like, oh, he's sad. He's broken. He's disheartened.
Right.
And then now as an adult, seeing that, and that's just the thing with Buzz is he's just such a surefire person. And so to see him sad is really heartbreaking.
As you're explaining it now, and in fact, just this whole conversation, doesn't it show you why it's earned the 100, why it's a classic, why it's so good? Because just think about what this movie is. Toys coming to life. You know how dumb this movie could have been or should have been? It could have just been...
Wow, yeah.
When none of the deeper meaning, they could have just come to life, been doing stupid shenanigans, making dumb jokes or whatever, but they made it...
I feel like that's intricate. What The Secret Life of Pets is. That's the universe where if Toy Story was bad. It's the same kind of premise. It's
I haven't seen Secret Life of Pets, but I like that comparison because...
that's what this is. I have seen The Secret Life of Pets, and it's that. It's like, what if your dogs could talk and socialize?
You live the secret life.
Yes, it's a secret life of pets. So it's when you're not watching them or when you're not with them, what if they're doing this? It's the same premise, but it's very dumb. It's really like toddler fuel. And that's such an amazing thought process of Toy Story could have been that. Toy Story could have been toddler fuel, but they didn't.
One last thing I wanted to get to. What did you think about Woody breaking the rule?
I've said it already on this pod that I do not like Sid blowing up his toys, and so I think this is a little bit of justifiable retribution. I'm okay with this. You could bend the rules a little bit to spare the lives,
traumatized forever.
To spare the lives of more toys. A sacrifice needed to be made.
We don't trade lives, Caroline.
Needed to be broken. We don't trade lives, we just save them.
I think Woody could have saved Buzz without breaking the rule.
He didn't want to just save Buzz. That's not the Woody thing. Woody wanted to save
millions of toys.
He wanted to save everybody. That's what Woody is.
That's true.
He wanted to save even the toys he left behind in Sid's room.
That's true. That's a good point.
That's Woody.
I just feel like it's a very sacred set of rules that you have to abide by.
That even Buzz followed.
Because I saw this as a very, very big deal. Very big deal to break the rule, especially in the first movie. Because imagine, I'm going to bring up Toy Story 3 now. Remember when they haven't been played with in a while?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's quickly looking in his chest for something, his toy chest. And then the little plan was to call him or call the cell phone. And then he goes looking in there and is like, oh, why is the cell phone ringing? And then they see the toys. Remember how that scene was so emotional because Woody is holding the phone to his ear, and he hears Andy, and it's almost like he desperately wants to say hello back, like he wants to talk to him.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about that exactly, but
Oh, my heart.
I'm just saying
It just got heavy. He just got heavy in this elbow nudge podcast.
he broke the rule to save toys for future generations to come against Sid. But what's to stop him from breaking the rules for, the power of friendship and love and things like that? Like, hey, Andy, I miss you, buddy. I've been here the whole time. We all miss you. Like, what stops him from that?
Because part of love is learning how to let go.
I can't. No.
You okay there, partner?
Let's put a pause on this. All right, I've gathered myself. But you get what I mean? You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get your line of thought, but with Sid, it's because he was actively hurting and traumatizing these toys in his room. They were scared. They would hide. Think about it. With Andy, they would like Woody would go on the bed and flop so that way Andy would see him. But Woody is noticing that the toys in Sid's room go under stuff and hide. They're trying to get away from him, but they can't because Sid has all these locks and stuff. And they help him. They're not like they thought that they were cannibals and stuff, but they're not. They are trying to fix and help any toy that comes into Sid's room. And so Woody is like, okay, no, I can't let this go on. I got to help these guys. Andy's not doing that. Andy's not doing anything wrong to his toys. So he's not going to, traumatize or break a rule for Andy. The rules are there to protect him.
I get how the gravity of the situation is worse for Sid. But I just mean, again, I'm going back to like how important these rules are. It's like reality shattering if they find out these toys are alive. So you can only really do it once. And they really pulled it off well with Sid because no one's going to believe a whole bunch of toys came to life and warned him to stop blowing up toys and things like that. He's too young. But that just gets me thinking, when could he break this rule again? When would it be necessary to break it again? Does it have to be always against something evil, or could it be for something just as important, like saving a life? Like this is something that won't even show up in a Pixar movie. But let's say he had to tell Andy, like, hey, you got to get over here. Your mom's in the hospital or something like that. Like he's talking to Andy, something.
He's about to get run over by a car and he's got to call out for him.
Something extreme like that. Yeah. At what point can you break the rule or not? Or what is justified to break the rule?
This is getting into really heavy hitting thought processes for Toy Story.
Yeah. Not The Secret Life of Pets. This is Toy Story.
Because Woody even did that with, what's her name? Hannah? Sid's sister? He's like, oh, Hannah. And she's like, coming, Mom.
That's a little scary, isn't it?
Oh, that's terrifying. I was thinking about that as I was watching the movie. Like, right, she goes downstairs like, Mom, were you calling me? And she's like, no.
I heard my name.
But I heard you, Mom.
That's scary.
You gotta get the house sanctified.
So, yeah, what do you think? Are those reasons justified? This we can't even prove because it's never happened in the movie again, but...
listen, if we were talking in a hypothetical situation and there is a fifth Toy Story movie and it involves Woody somehow saving Andy's life by calling out, like, Andy! And then this is how I imagine it would be a passable situation. We have a hypothetical Toy Story 5. Andy's about to get hit by a car. Woody's on the other side of the road where it's safe. And he calls out for him, Andy. Andy turns. He, goes that way, avoids the car, and he finds his Woody doll, and he's like, I thought I heard somebody call me, but Woody has gone into toy mode. That's where it's like, okay, he bended the rules because he's trying to save Andy's life.
I think that still falls under the territory of the Hannah.
He broke the rule, but it was to bend it a little bit.
What if he broke it and Andy continued? Andy definitely knew, like, Woody spoke to me. What if he broke it like that?
Oh,
Not like a quick, Andy, get out the way. You're going to get hit, partner.
You call him partner in a moment of panic.
He's a cowboy. You should know this, Caroline.
Oh my
You
god!
can't change who you are if you're in a panic or not. But anyways, yeah, that was a thought experiment, I guess.
I think this is the reason why Toy Story has never gone all the way with that. The Pixar people are like, no, let's not break people. Let's just
like, this is a kids' movies, guys.
Let's keep it in the realm of possibility, y'all.
Yeah.
And plus, part of that rule is so kids could think that was real. If they were like, the whole implication of writing that rule into the movie is so kids, after watching that movie, believe it in real life.
They got me.
Yeah, they did. They got you.
They got me looking like Boo Boo the Fool. All right, I'm leaving, guys. Click.
Don't nobody walk just because I'm not here. Then peeking through the door.
The keyhole.
Your Batman is like, he's still watching. Don't
We're not moving.
Move. He's still
must
there.
Be on to me.
He's a smart one. I'll give him that.
Or pretend to be asleep. All right, guys. Good night.
I'm going to bed. He's not snoring yet. Don't fall for it. Your Robin is like, A-okay, Batman.
Alrighty, Batman. Wait down, Robin.
You wake up the next day like, man, I had this really crazy dream about Batman and Robin.
It was a dream. All right, so last thing I want to call out. We were talking about the finale, but I want to bring up some favorite moments of mine.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the first one. This is an emotional one. There's a couple emotional ones in there. When Buzz is the first one to get a hold of the truck, but then what's the dog's name? Sid's dog's name? I want to say one, but I just finished Guardians and I don't want to confuse it with
Scud.
Is it Scud?
Scud.
It is?
Yeah.
And that's what that's what they say it in the Guardians. Remember?
He said but he says it as like a
Scud is like a profanity or something, just like
Flark.
Yeah. Scud.
You ain't slick, Marvel. We see you.
They're holding on. Scud has a hold of his foot. And then when he yells out, "Take care of Andy for me." Like, no, Woody. No. That got me. I don't know if it got you, but it's like everything. He loves Andy. That's his whole purpose throughout the whole franchise. Until 4, that's a different thing. But
that's the whole that's like one of the big emotional factors of Toy Story 3 too. Is like, yeah, he loves Andy.
Yeah. That's his that's his
human. That's his kid.
That's his kid.
I need to get my Jessie doll.
And there's so much. He was ready to die. He knew he wasn't gonna make it, or I don't know if he would have died. He would have got torn up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he was ready to accept, I'm never gonna see Andy again. And Buzz, this guy that I've been forming a friendship with, you could take care of him now.
Yeah,
please take care of him for me.
Oh,
that got me, Caroline. And then just the other smaller moments, Buzz finally getting onto the truck. And you know how we kind of call out, this happens in a lot of DComs and just like modern movies and stuff, where it's like, if you just said something, it would have easily been explained away. Like, just say something and then the problem's over. I think this is not one of those situations. I think Woody trying to quickly find RC and like save Buzz, I think he really did not have enough time to explain everything he had to explain.
Definitely.
Like, guys, Buzz, he's alive, but he doesn't know he's a toy. he realized he's not a space ranger anymore. He's
He's
a
out of
toy,
it right
and then
now.
they
He's
save him.
not.
And
Yeah.
then Scud's about to buy it. Just let me drive this thing, and
What did Potato Head say when he goes in and gets RC? He said something like
I don't know, but he is saying like, oh,
like
another toy he's about
another
to knock.
one.
Yeah, he's at it again. I think Rex says that. He's at it again. You see what am I telling you here? Mr. Potato Head, the real villain.
The real villain of Toy Story is that gosh darn potato.
And then I really like the moment we spoke about already with the binoculars. He's like, hold on, I see Woody. And then Bo Peep picks it up and like, and there's Buzz. And then they're like, oh, he was telling the truth this whole time.
And then Potato Head's like, oh man, and he sits down.
Yeah. I was gonna be Andy's favorite. Darn.
Maybe that was all part of his giant scheme, is to feed into Woody's paranoia.
We got to see a spin-off Mr. Potato Head story.
It's
a
amazing
Toy Story.
Andy always uses Ham as like the villain. Is it like the evil Mr. Porker or something? But maybe he should be looking at that potato.
He's usually like the right-hand man. He's usually bad too.
Mm-hmm. That's true. My favorite scene in the movie is, I think it's a lot of people's favorite, so it's nothing special, but it is that like, Buzz, you missed the truck. We're not aiming for the truck.
Oh yeah.
And then he lands in the car, and the joy in Andy's voice actor and Andy, and going like, Mom, I found Woody and Buzz. And she's like, oh, where were they? They were in the car this whole time. And
I like how they really play to that, because if you think about it, they always play dead.
Yeah.
And then they're not always in the same spot. You know, they don't always get the same exact position. And Andy or any little kid is not going to notice that. They're just going to be like, oh, my toy. There it is. Andy's not going to be like, wait, I checked this box. My toys weren't here. How did they get here?
Did you ever experience a phenomenon like that with your own toys?
No, I feel like it's just how I described it. It's just like, oh, there it is. I never thought, like, I didn't leave it there. Huh.
One of the things that fed into my belief that, like, the toys were real was that happened to me. I had...
You misplaced toys?
No, well, okay. I've talked about two of my favorite toys already, my Samantha and my Jessie, but I had another one. It was a blue Power Ranger from Power Rangers Mystic Force. The blue Power Ranger was a girl in that series. I loved her. And I had her action figure. And she was another one of my favorites. And I lost her. And I was sharing a room with Davey at the time. And so we were probably like 8 or 9. And I stayed in that room. I shared a room with Davey until I was maybe 13 years old. And I was devastated when I lost her. I would look for her every other day. Like, I would go crazy. And I remember, because I was pretty messy as a kid. I'm still not the cleanest now when it comes to like organizing my room, but it's not like the way it was when I was a kid. I had my toys everywhere and stuff. But I remember I cleaned up everything, put everything away, organized everything just to find her. And I couldn't find her. And I looked, my bed was against the wall. So it was like in the corner of the room. And I looked like in the crevice, and I even pulled my bed out and everything. And I had my dad help me to find her, and we could not find her. And that was at like 8 or 9, like I said. And cut to 13 years old. I'm moving because I got my own room now. I'm moving everything from my bed to this new room that I'm in now. And I found her in the crevice of the wall between my bed and the wall. I was like, "What? You were there the whole time? It's been years."
And you checked there?
I checked there like 5 times. And I remember thinking that, like, at 13 years old, I was already way beyond believing that my toys were real. But I remember thinking, like, are they? Because I'm sure.
Maybe you doubt yourself?
I did. I was like, I checked here before. How are you here?
Jesse, why didn't you tell me?
I was like, Jesse, you knew? You saw her? Are you the one that pushed her down there?
Oh, she pulled a Woody on
if
Blue Ranger.
The boot fits.
Good line. Good callback.
But that was another thing that like really that was in my mind when I was watching Toy Story again 2 days ago, where I was like, man, I remember being a kid and being like, I thought I put you there. How did you end up over here? But okay, like they even took that into account. Like they just end up on parts of the room.
Yeah, no explanation needed. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to think she's probably been off on an adventure. And you don't even know.
I have no
5 years.
Yeah, I don't know what she was up to, but probably saving the world with my other Power Ranger figures.
You might have to have a little talk with them tonight after this pod.
I have her in a bag in my
Oh,
closet with my
she's
other
suffocating.
Power Rangers. But yeah, I gotta go.
But
I would have too many toys out if I was to go back into that. But I do know this movie definitely influenced a generation of kids to not throw out their toys, and I was one of
yeah.
them because I did not throw out a lot of my toys. Some I threw out, like I had a lot of Hot Wheels and stuff, but I know, I'm sorry, Hot Wheels. But like my Transformers, my Bionicles, and my Power Rangers, I
Never.
still have them.
So who's the Bonnie that you're going to give it to? Are you ever going to give them away?
Maybe to my kid.
Okay.
I thought of that, like, do you remember the Lego movie? How the dad, like at the end of the Lego movie, the dad super glues the Legos and his son really wants to play with the Legos, but the dad's like, no.
I don't remember it very well.
At
But I remember they were like building in the basement or something.
the dad had like a Lego city utopia in the basement on like this huge Lego
Yeah.
table. And he would super glue the Legos together because that was like he didn't want anything to happen to them for them to break, but his son wants to build things with the Lego parts. And the whole premise of the movie too is that you should be allowed to like take apart your Legos and rebuild things and create things with, like, just because it looks like that on the box doesn't mean it has to look like that when you build stuff. You could use Lego parts for anything. And so the dad at the end of the movie is like, okay, like his lesson is he needs to learn to think about it more like a child and not super glue it. You could easily put it back to how it used to look, but you could explore your creativity. And he gives like all of his Legos to his kid so his kid could have fun with it. And that's what I'm gonna be. If I know my toys are probably old, and I'll once I get my own place, I'll have them set up in like a case display or something. But if my kid wants to play with them, sure.
You got to name her Bonnie as well.
I don't want to name her Bonnie.
Oh, dang. All right.
Sorry to all the Bonnies out there. Sure, you're lovely and you have a cute name.
All right. I wanted to mention before I forget, this was the first movie that taught me about the magnifying glass thing with the sun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I never knew about that before, or I didn't have many years. I was still young, so I guess I found out through Toy Story. And I always thought that was really cool. And again, tying it back to the finale, I love that the match went out and they were able to use Buzz's helmet to light the rocket with the magnifying glass trick.
That was so clever. Good on you, Woody. So clever.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the movie I learned about it. I think I learned about it in like a Magic School Bus episode or something. But I knew about it.
Also, just real quick, or I guess it won't, I don't know. It's a little one of those questions that could go on, but they could feel pain. These toys could feel pain, right? Woody getting his head burned in, the army soldier getting stomped on by the mom.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
and also, we know that Buzz, at least he thinks that he could like run out of air or need a gas for air. So we know
Yeah.
that they could possibly drown.
I don't think they can possibly drown. I think that was more in Buzz's delusion than
Okay.
an actual component of being a toy.
Okay. Yeah, also I'm thinking in Toy Story 2, they're using Slinky to jump off the house because they're going on the mission.
And he's not in pain or anything. They do get tired. That's another thing to think
Well,
about.
that's also they're also implying there's fall damage. If they fall from too high up, they'll get hurt.
Yeah.
That's why they need Slinky to bungee.
Yeah.
Even though Slinky, he straight up jumps off because nobody is there to help him bungee.
I assume Buzz would catch him.
That's a nice thought. So there's really no like question to this. I just feel like where are like
You're really trying to get into the mind and think about the inner workings of this toy
I love this movie.
coming to life in real life situation, and I love it. I love it.
Buzz even acknowledges, he's like, I don't know what he calls him. He doesn't call him soldier, but he's like, good job withstanding the torture there, Woody.
Cadet.
Yeah, cadet. So they could be tortured to a point where, weren't they implying that Woody was ready to scream if he was burning too long? Do you think they were implying that?
I think so. But is that because of pain, or is that because damage has been inflicted on him?
I think it's pain. You think he's thinking about his condition? Like, oh no, I'll be...
His image?
Yeah. Like, Andy's going to see that I'm damaged.
That's how I took it.
I took it as pain, like he was holding it in. You don't think so?
It's possible, yeah. Especially because, like, in Toy Story 2, they get tired when Buzz and the gang are trying to go to Al's Toy Barn. Like, they're like, can we take a break? And they're, like, panting.
Yeah.
So that's another play into it. Like, they can get tired.
All right. This wasn't going anywhere, but we just needed to discuss that.
You need to discuss that these toys can feel pain.
Yeah.
Physically and emotionally.
Woody definitely felt pain, obviously, because he yelled after Sid left the room, and then he had to dunk his head in a bowl of cereal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the bowl of cereal. Either that or he just wanted to stop the sizzling.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's it. I guess the last thing, we already spoke about it, but yeah, then obviously the best part and the most quoted line, the not flying, falling with style, and I just really like when Buzz says, I really like when Woody says, Buzz, you're flying, because it's the exact inverse of, you can't fly, you're a toy.
And then Buzz responds with, we're not flying, we're falling with style.
That's masterpiece writing right there, Caroline. 100 out of 100.
Poetic cinema.
I bet George Lucas was clapping in the back. I bet he gave this movie a standing ovation.
You know, he might be a fan of this movie. Have you seen how many references in the second one? We'll save that for...
Well, we'll save that. We've been mentioning Toy Story 2 a lot.
Yeah. But that's another line of conversation. That's a little cliffhanger for everybody for next episode. We talk about Toy Story 2.
Right. So, yeah, that's it for me. If there's anything you want to mention, bring it up.
I think closing thoughts for me on this movie, it's a classic. No matter how old you are, you can relate to an aspect of being a kid and loving your toys, loving that feeling, that imaginative moment of playing with your toys. And I think it's really something special that as a kid and as an adult, I love this movie. And it's really an honor to think about a movie that way. There's not a lot of movies that I could relate to at any age, but this was one of the good ones. This was really good.
Yeah, it was excellent. I could rewatch at any time. It's my favorite series of Pixar movies. And yeah, a classic. This is what I define as one of their classic. Their first movie and incredible first outing for Pixar. It's awesome. And that's it. And then let's go on from here. Let's see where their adventure goes.
Yeah.
Let's include Lightyear in there as well. Why not?
Tune in next week for our Toy Story 2 episode. I love that movie. I can't wait to talk about that one.
Oh, we will. There's a lot.
Oh. But all right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are hearing us on your favorite podcasting platform, give us a follow. Hit the bell icon if you want notifications for when new episodes are out. And give us an honest review if you are a returning listener. If you're hearing us on YouTube, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you we made it to the end, because this episode is longer than the movie itself.
Yeah, it is.
But I just want to remind you all, if you have any toys from your childhood that you still haven't taken out and dusted off, I would recommend doing so. Why not? Let them sit on the nightstand for a night. Just acknowledge them.
Just let them breathe in the oxygen.
Yeah. And that's it.
Now, Tony, I think it's time we go to infinity and beyond.
Wait, I was gonna go to infinity.
And beyond.